Okay, so the one thing I still don't get about It Follows is where I can get one of those seashell mobile phones that friend keeps whipping out, because I would maybe kill a person for one. That darn movie show. Hey guys, it's Cruz here. Hope you guys are doing super awesome, fantastic, amazing. Gonna preface this review by just saying, I am not a horror aficionado. It's not that I don't like horror movies, I actually really enjoy them, just not at the cinema, because I am a child. I get too scared, can't handle it. My style of horror movies is more at home, on Netflix, on a small laptop screen, with my best friend Elsa sitting next to me, who you'll know from my award season videos. I'll be eating Pringles, like a whole can of Pringles. She'll be playing Candy Crush on her phone and looking up the plot on Wikipedia so we can know what's coming. Yeah, that is more my style of watching horror movies. But somehow, I've managed to see It Follows at the cinema twice. Twice. I thought I was gonna die, people. That is how scared I was. This movie was terrifying. The thing is, the reason I sort of hate going to see horror at the cinema, it's not so much that I'm easily affected by the atmosphere. I mean, I do have a really vivid imagination, but sort of movies like The Woman in Black and Annabelle, I won't be that scared I won't be into the movie in that way. It's just the second there's a loud noise or something really sudden, I just jump out of my skin. But yeah, those sort of movies, once the credit rolls, just don't feel anything. I'm just yeah, I want to eat pizza, let's go eat pizza. But with It Follows, the second the sort of credits rolled for that movie, I was just gripping the arm seats next to me, just completely frozen in terror. And that's because It Follows is a combination of two really powerful things. It is, first off, a really effective concept, and secondly, just really fantastic atmosphere. And yeah, because the premise of this movie is just so simple, but it's so effective. It's basically, you have sex, this thing starts following you, if it touches you, you die. And that's it. But within that simple premise are these ideas that it's unstoppable, it's following you all the time, even if you can't see it, and also that it takes different forms. So sometimes it's a stranger and sometimes it's someone you know. So all these sort of things together are really the kind of ideas that stay with you once you leave the cinema, because you'll walk out of the cinema and you'll be like, oh my god, is it following me right now? Is it that person over there? And I think modern horror really sort of undervalues that minimalism, the sort of power of not explaining things, and It Follows doesn't give you any information, doesn't give you any background, which is different to a lot of sort of modern horror where they have this sort of need to give everything an origin story of, oh, it's a ghost or it's a demon. And actually the thing with Paranormal Activity, I remember I was really sort of into it and really scared up until the point that they were like, yeah, it's a goat-footed demon. Because, I don't know, I think there's an idea that the second you sort of gain knowledge over something, you gain a certain power over it. And if you think of sort of all the things that as a society we're most afraid of, it's all about the unknown, the things we just can't explain, like ghosts or the bottom of the sea or, strangers in alleyways. And then on top of that simplicity, David Robert Mitchell, the director, just builds this incredible atmosphere surrounding all the events. Yeah, this movie takes place in suburbia, and it's got this almost sort of virgin suicide-y sort of vibe to it. There's a lot of scenes of people sort of lying around and sunlight is trickling through closed blinds, that sort of vibe to it. But yeah, I think the real kicker of the movie here is the soundtrack though. The soundtrack is just incredible. So it's composed by this musician Disaster Piece, and it's a massive throwback to sort of horror from the 80s and horror soundtracks from the 80s, John Carpenter and Goblin and that sort of stuff, sort of just really heavy use of synth. But I think what's sort of really powerful about this soundtrack is just like the intensity of it. It really makes the movie this like full body experience. And because yeah, I just remember there's one particular moment in the movie where it's kind of a climactic moment, and it's very much a climactic moment in the soundtrack. Like the synth is just like reaching this like, and I just was so overwhelmed in that moment. I just honestly just wanted to run out of the cinema. It was such an intense experience, and I've not wanted to run out of a cinema from fear for a long time. I think the last movie I wanted to do that in was The Orphanage, and that was basically because the day I went to see The Orphanage, I had just moved into this new flat which had this mysterious door to this mysterious room that we didn't have a key to and didn't know how big it was or what was inside of it. And then, you know, I went to see this movie The Orphanage, which is basically all about a mysterious door to a mysterious room, and all the nopes in the world, it was too much. So yeah, on top of that very sort of 80s soundtrack as well, you've got a very sort of 80s theme to it, because it's all about sex basically, and it's a throwback to those kinds of movies like Halloween that were basically interpreted as warnings against teenagers having sex, basically being like, if you have sex you will get pregnant and you will die. And so, you know, in this movie you have this thing where you have sex and then this thing follows you and kills your ass. And I think there's probably like a billion different psychoanalytical interpretations you could make of this movie. I mean, STDs, fear of pregnancy, but I think sort of my take on it is maybe something a bit more general. I think it sort of speaks to that narrative that we drive into teenage, and I think it sort of applies to everyone sort of generally, that narrative of, you know, once you have sex with someone there is an irreversible quality to it. It's something that you can't erase and you can't escape from. And I think that could very well be the psychology behind all of these 80s horror movies as well, because most people sort of interpret those movies as a warning against casual sex. And I think it's because of those, it's sort of trying to drive those ideas into people that yeah, there's some sort of thing that attaches to you after you have sex. And yeah, that doesn't seem like a very healthy perspective on it, but it makes for great horror. So yeah, if you've seen It Follows, I would love to know what you thought, specifically how scared you were, from a scale of I was just thinking about pizza the whole time, to I locked myself in a toilet cubicle for half an hour. So yeah, you can let me know that by commenting down below, or you can tweet at me here. And also, if you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, just give me an old like and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!